My name's Galen. I'm one of the founders of GreenChoice and the CEO. So quick survey, okay? So I just want you to raise your hands. First, who here has bought an organic food product before? Okay. Now who here thinks about health, society, and/or the environment when making purchasing decisions? Awesome. This is awesome. And so, who can think of, just in your mind right now, who can think of at least 3 companies or products that you know and are certain are socially responsible, ethical, and sustainable? Okay. So, I knew that my food purchases had an impact. And I knew that there was an impact on the planet and on the environment, but really understanding what that impact was, I was at a loss. And when trying to make a shift to support more sustainable business and a more sustainable world through my purchases, I found myself completely overwhelmed. Above me is many of the reasons that I felt so overwhelmed. In addition to the endless claims and kind of the manipulative, convoluted marketing that I would find in the grocery store and online, I also was overwhelmed by the really meaningful claims that existed. They all just blurred together. So GreenChoice is using expert analysis and machine learning to aggregate and synthesize information on industry, companies, and their products. And we're doing this ultimately with the aspiration of helping you and ourselves to make informed choices easily, quickly, that align with our values, so that we can make value-based purchases on a daily basis. And we're doing that by building our green score. So every food product receives 6 unique scores, 0 to 100, which together, aggregated, create our composite green score. Okay, so quick example in the context of eggs. Nutrition is going to look at the nutritional density of the eggs relative to a series of benchmarks. Health safety would look at the chicken's feed for animal byproducts, antibiotics, and other potentially harmful substances. Sustainability would measure the environmental and social governance practices of the larger producing company and look at their carbon emissions, energy utilization, waste management, and workers' rights practices, and so on. So just to give you a little taste. So who's our user? It's the socially conscious millennial that's really seeking to make value-based purchases and have an impact in their daily life. It's the young parents that would give anything to know that the products they're buying are safe and healthy for their child. It's the environmentalist who has to spend more time on their day job than their activism, but they just can't give up this passion. And they want to make a difference. They want to keep preaching or practicing what they preach. It's also us, and from the looks of those hands earlier, it's all of you. So in the US right now, there are 83 million millennials. 47% of them want to purchase with a purpose and support socially responsible companies. 43% of them have shopped for groceries online at one time. That gives us a serviceable, addressable market of around 17 million millennials in the US alone. And when we apply the similar metrics to the European market, our SAM doubles. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if many of you are thinking, wait a second, I don't purchase groceries online. And the reality is this number is shifting, and it's shifting before our eyes. It's actually projected that within the next 10 years, the number of US consumers shopping for groceries online is going to grow from just 23% currently to more than 70%. And that's really with millennials and Generation Z leading the transition.
1 minute.
And we're here to capitalize on that. So, as a result, there's a growing number of online grocers in the market. And for them and for you, we're developing a browser extension, which allows you to quickly access our green scores and make informed choices while shopping online for groceries. And so we can walk through this later, where we've got a table in the back. But basically, you would indicate what of our green score categories are important to you, so we can match products to your preferences. You then select your store, and now can immediately view products match percentages based on your preferences. You know, immediately you're drawn to Nature's Promise. It's 96% match. Why? So you click to learn more, now you get to see the green score. You see a breakdown, and you can see the main contributors behind that green score, and even company-related news that are tied into these issues of health and sustainability. And finally, we are what we eat. We are what we consume. And so if every product you buy has a green score, then you personally have a green score. And we're going to track that over time and give you feedback so that you can make more, not just more informed choices, but that you can measure your impact and then be able to learn from those choices and see how you fit into the larger scheme of your community and so on. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, so 2 questions. I saw 2 hands go up, so 1 in the back and then 1 over here. Let's go with you first.
So you measure in these different categories. Let's say I take something like nutrition. How much are you going to expose to people the way that you're measuring that? Because, you know, I eat, let's say, a 95% plant-based diet. I don't think of an egg as a healthy thing in any way, shape, or form. That's my personal point of view of it. I know the statistics of how it influences cancer and heart disease and a bunch of other things. Can people get at how you're making the ratings?
Yeah, it's a really important question. So it's something we've been thinking about a lot, and the short answer would be yes. Right now we're dealing with some issues around IP and trying to work out how we can really disclose as much of this process as possible. But we will be publishing a more in-depth scoring rubric within the coming months so that you could basically see what is the criteria that GreenChoice is really using when we're evaluating nutrition or any of these categories.
And will there be a feedback mechanism? So like if there are people out there that think, whoa, you really made a mistake on what you're paying attention to in this health category, are we going to be able to feed that back to you? Or is this just going to wind up being another mega thing like the US government broadcasting what's good for us based on something that we can't even influence?
No, so I think absolutely we want all of your feedback. And so it's important to note that right now we're in the process of assembling a science advisory board that's completely independent from the business, that's going to oversee the integrity of our green scores for that very reason. This is not founded to manipulate you. This is really about building a resource so that all of us can really foster a healthier, more sustainable world through the demand side, through collective action, through shifting demand. If we keep buying, they'll keep selling. So we need to stop buying the things that are unhealthy and unsustainable and shift focus to more ethical, more long-term environmentally friendly products.
Okay, we have 1 question.
So you made a choice to go after online shopping.
Yeah.
Whereas most shopping actually occurs in situ when people have mobile devices. Is there a reason why you made the choice to go towards a desktop and a browser-based application rather than a mobile application?
Yeah, and it's a really important question, and it wasn't an easy choice. So I'll tell you, for us, it's around limited resources and recognizing who our early adopter is. And you know, seeing the hands in this room, I think we might go back and be rethinking who our early adopter is. But there's a lot of evidence to show that it's millennials in urban environments and in cities. And these are the places and the individuals that are shopping more frequently online for groceries. The second piece is that this is the quickest way that we can go to market and really create the value we want. So there is a seamless integration, right, that we showed. That's not so seamless when you have to take out your phone, scan barcodes, and ultimately are not actually getting any of that personal green score tracking. And so it was a kind of a mix of reasons.
Could you link it with a loyalty program with Stop and Shop?
We would love to. We would love to. Yeah.
Got an introduction to make? All right, thank you.
Thank you.